Stargazers, Bryan Colter here, Evolutionary Astrologer, for another horoscope report for the upcoming Capricorn new moon. Happy Capricorn season as we enter into this new year very soon. And even the new moon itself represents new beginnings. So this is a beautiful way to think about, okay, what does at least the first half of 2023 have in store for me? What new energies can I apply into my life? And how can I work with the astrological weather instead of against it, with the goal being to put my personal growth and evolution into hyperdrive. And as you can see here, Capricorn new moon. And we're going to talk a lot about Capricorn here because we got 5 of the 10 planets in the same sign. So much Capricorn energy. But before we get to that, though, I want to really talk about the most impactful event, more or less coinciding with this new moon. And that is the planet Jupiter entering a new sign of Aries. And Jupiter spends about a year in a given sign on average because it has a 12-year rotation around the sun. There's 12 signs. Now, in this case, actually, Jupiter entered Aries last year. And it was in Aries from, I think, about May to October, thereabouts, where Jupiter left Pisces, entered into Aries, and then later in the year went retrograde and then went back into Pisces for the last couple months. And now it's gone direct, it's moving forward, and now right on the new moon, boom, it enters Aries again, where it will remain in Aries until about mid-May of 2023. So this is really setting the tone and the pace for the beginning of 2023. Now, as we contemplate this new year upcoming through the Capricorn new moon, it is very important to leverage this very fiery energy of Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter, archetypally known as the king of the gods, here it is in the sign of the warrior, really quite strong because Jupiter likes being in the sign. It likes being in any fire sign, really, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, the other fire sign. And this represents speed. I mean, the warrior moves quickly. It has a pioneering spirit. All fire signs are signs of action. And Jupiter, since it's already spent, half of its time in Aries already, it's returning into Aries. It's going to blow through the rest of the sign rather quickly. So things moving at light speed, a condensing of energies, things happening quite rapidly. So it's like a wind to our backs, and we really want to work with this fiery energy at least the first half of 2023. So there's a way to work with this energy instead of against it, so we feel that boost, that wind to our back, and in so doing, accelerate our growth process. We'll spend most of our time talking about that. But there's also a more destructive side to this energy, the king of the gods and the sign of the warrior. And actually, when Jupiter entered Aries last year, that's when the war in Ukraine started. Jupiter in Aries was also quite strong during World War I, World War II. And so this is the first 5 months of the year. I mean, I'm not trying to get doom and gloom with it, but I would imagine things picking up more speed in the war, perhaps a little bit more destruction there. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'm wrong. But it's definitely resonant with the potentials connected to this archetypal field. So all this warrior energy, meanwhile, when Sun enters into Capricorn, winter starts. Of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, that's the case. But this is where these symbols really evolved, in the Northern Hemisphere. And, of course, the war is occurring in the Northern Hemisphere. So king of the gods and the sign of the warrior in the dead of winter, that's the energy. This is dark side stuff. So, keeping people in our blessings and our prayers, sending good juju to Earth to do our part to help energetically with any sort of conflict that could arise with Jupiter just blowing through Aries. So that's the more challenging or shadow side or destructive side. But there's also a very powerful way of working with Jupiter. Jupiter, from the perspective of a more conventional astrology, is known as the lucky planet. So it is true. I mean, that's part of Jupiter, wherever it is going through your own personal chart. We'll talk more about that in a second. Look to, beneficial circumstances happening more than average in that area of your life, depending on what house of your chart it's transiting through. But the evolutionary perspective on Jupiter isn't opposite, but it's very different. It always invites your participation with the planet instead of just sitting back and enjoying some good luck. So working with Jupiter actively in your life, I've talked about this many times on this channel, is asking yourself the question, how am I underestimating myself? How am I settling for too little? And how can I engineer some victories in my life? It's really the faith builder. So wherever it is in your chart wants you to have a more emboldened faith in yourself, in your own abilities, in a certain aspect of your life, and to be bold there, especially when it's in the sign of the warrior. Now, Jupiter has, all the planets have, a nature to them. And Jupiter's nature is uplifting, is joyous, is expansive, okay? But the sign that it's traveling through, well, it's an intrapsychic process, so it'll add a certain set of values or agenda to that nature of the planet itself. And the set of values or agenda with Aries is to charge forth into battle, is to protect the weak and defenseless, is to be strong, is to be competitive, hopefully in a more innovative way instead of a destructive, prideful side of Aries. And that's one of the shadow sides too with Jupiter and Aries is pride, is ego inflation, impulsivity sometimes. So this motivation, this psychological drive of the warrior is basically to move forward, to become braver and to become stronger. And if I had to reduce Aries into one word, it would probably be courage. So it's about developing one's courage. So here you have Jupiter, the planet of faith building, with the evolutionary intent or drive to become braver and stronger. So it's really quite a magical energy if you work with it. It can be a little intimidating, especially for those of us out there who are a little bit more meek or mild or more, hold back, or maybe overly self-critical or something like that. I have a Virgo moon. I fall in the self-critical camp. But if we can really lean into this Jupiter and Aries and strive to expand our comfort zones and go all in and be bold in a specific area of our life, and we're able to take advantage of that. And then, of course, synchronistically, we will attract to ourselves experiences where we will be well positioned to do just that. Whether we actually do it or not is where the magic of our free will comes into play, because it's not guaranteed. But if we're able to do that, and we say, yes, I'm going to be bold, I'm going to expand into life, that's when the lucky planet is truly activated, okay? That's the connection between the two. Now, remember, it's happening for the first 5 months of 2023, so we got plenty of road ahead of us to work with this. But since it's a speedy energy, it's going to go by a lot quicker than we realize. And there is this synchronistically sort of opportunities that arise. The door opens and then shuts quickly. There's that quick energy. Okay, you either went through the door or you didn't. Okay, so this is really about seizing opportunities, seizing the moment, and expanding. So really the first half of the year. But now as we're at this Capricorn new moon, very different set of energies. Thinking, okay, new moon, new beginnings happening at the end of the year. Okay. But right at the end of the year, so the beginning of the next year is about to start. So New Year's resolution, that's a phrase I don't like very much, mostly because I never stuck to my New Year's resolutions, but that's another story. So it's like, okay, my New Year's resolution is to be bold, okay? Meanwhile, the sun entered into Capricorn. Metaphorically, winter has started. Now, think about the virtues that would have to arise in you if you were to survive a winter in nature, kind of alone, needing, you have X number of days before you're rescued, some sort of survival situation. If you're in a situation like that, think about the strengths that are being called, your life depends on it, to rise to the surface. This idea of focus, discipline, commitment, the ability to keep your eye on the prize, which is to live till the next day, indomitable willpower, okay, being able to steel your nerves and just focus on this goal, okay, concentration. These are qualities, high virtuous qualities of Capricorn that we want to bring in now to rise to some great work, to really bring in the core archetype for Capricorn, which is the sea goat, which is the symbol of endurance. The sea goat can climb the tallest mountain in the world, can cross the widest ocean. Okay, so we take these energies, which of course is very different than Jupiter and Aries, and we think about these energies integratively towards these new beginnings, towards the first half of next year. And I've said this before, next year is super important, not only because of Jupiter and Aries, but mainly because Pluto is finally entering into Aquarius in March. It entered Capricorn back in 2008. And then you also have Saturn entering a new sign of Pisces, I think in the same month, March. So March is going to be huge. But let's just say 2023, the energetic texture of it is way different than 2022, 21, 20. I mean, gosh, we've been put through the ringer. 2020, as many of you know, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, pressure cooker energy, hardship associated with that set of energies. And then the last couple of years, we've had the Saturn-Uranus square, which I talked about ad nauseum for those 2 years, which has just ended. So we have that heavy-duty Saturnian energy lightening up, and Saturn feels heavy, it feels weighty, it feels restrictive, there's blockage, it's like, I can't go, I can't, it's like a brick wall. And now Jupiter winging its way through Aries, it's like just breaking through that brick wall. What's on the other side of the brick wall? We don't exactly know, but it's far different than that wall we've been behind for the last 3 or 4 years. Okay. Pluto entering a new sign, Saturn finally entering a new sign. Okay, so of course, as the months go by, I'll be talking more about what that looks like, the other side of the wall. But now we're breaking through. Okay, breath of fresh air. I'm pretty excited about it. So now, in light of that, we're creating this new beginning. And you want to pay close attention to where Jupiter and Aries is in your own personal chart. If you don't know how to look up your own chart, or figure out where Jupiter is transiting through, I do sell a 40-minute tutorial on my website. I'll put a link above and in the show description. But the super pistachio nutshell description is, let's pretend this is your birth chart. Okay, don't pay so much attention to where your Jupiter is in your birth chart. I mean, that's important, but not in the context we're talking about here. More look to the outer ring once you bring up your chart, and see all these symbols on the outer ring, and then look for Aries, because Jupiter's in Aries, and this is the symbol of Aries right here, the ram. So if this was your chart, we would know that Jupiter has just entered your second house because it's in Aries. Okay, so then we'd focus this be bold here, seize the moment energy in your second house. And I'm actually going to go through the houses here rather quickly because this event's so important for the first half of next year. So let's say you have Aries rising right here at the beginning of the first house, or perhaps Pisces rising, the later degrees of Pisces. Then that means basically your Jupiter is going to be transiting through the first house, which is super important because the first house is the first of the 12 houses. And since Jupiter takes 12 years to make it around your chart, it represents the beginning of things. It's the start of a new 12-year cycle. So be bold here. Basically, it comes down to making new decisions. You know, the synchronistic correlates with the first house is binding decisions and needing to go in a new, fresh direction. So be bold in your directions. What's the right fork in the road for you over the next few months? The more ambitious one, okay, the bigger one. Learning to be more selfish. That's a part of the first house too, enlightened selfishness. Okay, sometimes we have the right to be selfish. It's like, how have I been underestimating myself? I value myself. I'm worth it. This is my life. This is my journey. And I'm going to claim my right to do something bold perhaps to do something difficult, just to sprinkle in some Capricorn energy, that will require my willpower and focus and concentration, okay? Do something that's difficult, and whatever that difficult thing is, that new direction in my life, I'm going to claim it, and it might take my attention away from other people somewhat, Is that selfish? No, but sometimes it can be perceived that way. Jupiter in your 12th house, new 12-year cycle. This year is for you. This is a powerful energy, okay? Now, what if Jupiter is transiting through your second house of your chart? Second house is known as the house of money. That's the classical interpretation of it. So the lucky planet's going through the house of money. All right, and that's a welcome thing. Buy a lottery ticket. Not literally, but that's kind of the spirit of it. But I call it the house of insecurity. Yes, outer security, money is part of it. Also the house of survival, but it's also the house of internal security. How have I been underestimating myself in regards to my own confidence? Now, if it's in your second house, it's just over the last year, it was in the first house, you're just starting new beginnings. Second house is about following through with those new beginnings that you created in the last year. Keep on going. And money, yeah, that's a resource. It's a precious resource. So cultivating a stronger resource base, and yes, that can be money. There is a practical, concrete side of the second house. But it can also be skills. Having a certain skill is a precious resource. Speaking German in Germany is a good resource, even though it doesn't make you any money. Okay, so Jupiter in your second house, you need more resources. That's skills, tools, alliances, money. Maybe marching into your boss's office and asking for a raise. I'm worth it. Stuff like this. So applying your new beginnings, the beginning of the new year, towards establishing that stronger base. Now, what about if you have Jupiter in the third house of your chart? So the third house goes by different names. It's the house of communication, the house of short distance travel, the house of language. It does have a mentally stimulating energy associated with it. Really at the core of it is the house of perception, house of thoughts. But let's just look at the classical understanding of it. Language, speaking, the voice. Jupiter in this house, how have you underestimated your own voice? It's time to be heard. It's time to seize the moment. It's time to speak up. Get your ideas out there in the world. Face your fears. It's in Aries. Don't be afraid to speak up and to be heard, because you're capable of more than you've evidenced in your life. Even if you're a pretty confident, well put together person, Jupiter is saying, take up more space regarding your ability to communicate in your voice. So the metaphor would be doing some public speaking, or going to a Toastmasters event, or writing a book, or sharing that poem at a party, or telling a joke in front of a group of people where, historically you might been a little bit too intimidated to do so. Stuff like that. How can you speak up? Okay, so fourth house, Jupiter in the fourth house of the home, in the sense of where you live. It can be your house, it can be your city, it can be your country, okay? How have you underestimated your own home? Many people will move during heavy fourth house stimulus, not just with Jupiter in this house, but any major planet. How have you settled for too little regarding where you live? Okay, maybe it's not about something extreme like moving. Maybe it's about redecorating or doing that cleaning that you've been putting aside for so long, or whatever, or do that remodel. Now, the fourth house isn't just about the home; it's also about family. The people we can really count on, where we have this loving sense of mutual obligation. So, where's your soul family? Maybe it's time to move closer to family. How have I settled for too little regarding family? How can I take up more space or be more bold relative to home and family? Okay, now the fifth house. The Jupiter really loves being in the fifth house because, as I said, the nature of Jupiter is joyous, is optimistic, is uplifting. Here we're hitting Christmas time, and Santa Claus is clearly a Jupiterian figure. The expansiveness, the generosity, the overindulgence that Jupiter can sometimes fall into the trap of with Santa Claus, with that big belly and the red cheeks and nose. Perhaps eats a bit much, drinks a bit much. So excess is a challenge with Jupiter and Aries sometimes. So be wary of that, especially if it's in your fifth house of pleasure and joy. Okay, it's the house of fun. So everything in astrology happens because it needs to, no exceptions. Okay, everything represents an evolutionary opportunity, and that includes the house of pleasure. Okay. Meanwhile, Capricorn, the sea goat, the symbol of endurance, isn't a symbol that's so isn't easily seeking out pleasure seeking. It's more about keeping your eye on the prize, doing the dutiful thing. Okay. So disciplining yourself to create a new beginning in the house of fun. Okay. Leveraging that Santa Claus spirit. House of play, house of creativity, the spirit of childhood. Over the next 5 or 6 months, you need to have a good time. I know that sounds like a tough job. Somebody's got to do it, but that's the spirit of that. To become like a little child, to enter the kingdom of heaven. That's Jesus's line, something like that. It's an utterly fifth house statement, something that you're invited now to embrace fully. Okay, Jupiter is in your sixth house, much different than the fifth, needless to say, because the sixth house is about health, wellness, work, duty, responsibility. You know, I'm working right now, making this video. I'm having a good time, doing readings, having fun. This is the house of service. The old Egyptian prayer associated with this house is, God grant that today I do work that matters. It's about helping other people, okay? So how have you been underestimating yourself and your ability to give of your energy, your time, maybe even your money? You know, tithing is a good example of the sixth house. So it's about helping other people. How have I been underestimating myself? You're capable of exercising higher levels of skill and competence than you think. And as you claim more of that in your life through the giving spirit, the cultivation of the good karma through giving of your energy, as you do that, you claim more of Jupiter's nature, which is joy and expansiveness. But it's going to take some effort. Capricorn, 5 planets in Capricorn. I'm going to work hard here. Okay. Okay, so seventh house. Seventh house is house of marriage, intimacy, okay? Sense of partnership and friendships and creative partnerships. How have you underestimated yourself in your relationships? You know, and what are you going to do about it? That's the more Capricorn energy. How are you going to commit to it? You know, even if you're in a very beautiful, happy relationship, Jupiter is saying minimally it could be a little bit better. It's time to improve this arena of your life, okay? You know, time to go further with it and update your intimate needs and to do the sustained work to make a more ideal connection. Now, if you're single, okay, Jupiter says, put yourself out there. I'm going to take up space. I'm going to be bold here, okay? Especially if you have an internal resistance to it or fear. It's in the sign of Aries, the warrior, okay? I'm going to be bold here. I'm going to assert myself. I'm going to expand my comfort zones. I'm going to break through that wall, okay? And working with this archetypal energy, putting yourself in situations where you're more likely to meet people. The magical quality, the lucky quality of Jupiter is activated, and boom, you meet somebody that proves to be very important in your life, a priceless connection. The prize is worth the effort. Okay, what about the 8th house? Now, the 8th house has some overlap in meaning with the 7th house because these are deeply relational houses. 7th house of marriage and intimacy and friendship. 8th house is more about the mystery that makes couples form, house of deep bonding, house of sexual chemistry, house of deep intimacy. Okay, so more about deep intimacy, mating, bonding. And it's basically about relationship dynamics that include the exchange of strong emotion. And deep intimacy brings out our wounding. Okay, so Jupiter in your house, you have the opportunity to do deep inner work on yourself, to work on your shadows. How have you underestimated yourself in terms of how you can heal and grow and transmute darkness within, we're all wounded somehow, into love and light? How have you underestimated that? There is a very psychotherapeutic feeling to this house, okay? It's like maybe it's entering in and committing to Capricorn style, some therapy sessions or something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be therapy, but just deep, reflective, contemplative work where you traverse your inner hell worlds and do some deep psyche spelunking so that you can explore those dark places and shine a light on them towards transmutation, towards transformation, deep psychic healing. And the positive consequence of doing that work is you deepen your relationships, just to circle it back to the relational aspect of it. Now, the ninth house, okay, Jupiter loves being in the ninth house because it naturally rules the ninth house, so it's really quite strong there. So if you have Jupiter in your ninth, how have I been underestimating myself to learn? It's the house of learning. Take advantage of opportunities to expand your horizons intellectually, cross-culturally, even philosophically. There's a philosophical quality of the ninth house. Don't underestimate your right to feed your mind, to learn things you want to learn. They may be difficult, but, go for it. Also, your faith might need a little boost. It's the house of religion, the house of philosophy. So especially with it being in the daredevil energy of Aries, in the ninth house, it's about going on some adventures, taking some risks, going on that backpacking trip, going to Machu Picchu, time to climb Half Dome in Yosemite. It doesn't have to involve travel and adventure and hiking and stuff like that, or jumping out of airplanes, although that's a great way of working with it. It can be, again, intellectually, taking some ambitious course or something you want to learn too. But it is about breaking up old patterns of behavior, seeking new experience, fresh experience, and learn. So, winging its way through that house for about 6 or so months, maybe a little bit more depending on your own personal chart. But it's like, how can I pack the experience of 2 years into this next 6 months? That's the spirit of it. Okay, Jupiter in your 10th house, house of career, house of mission, and community. Does have this, sea of people energy, because the 10th house begins where our personal relationships end. So that's why it's called the house of mission and community. So how have I been underestimating myself in my work? How have I held myself back in my work? I need to be bold here. I need to put myself in a position to claim more. Okay. You're capable of giving more of your energy to your community, making more of a difference, having a more mission-centric life. Okay. Don't underestimate your ability to help people you don't know personally. That's just the spirit of the 10th house. What about the 11th house? The 11th house is the house of aspirations and future goals. How have you underestimating your own dreams? What do you want your life to look like in 10 years or 20 years? Being bold with your own dreams. How have you underestimated your own potential, your goals? Jupiter going to your 11th, your dreams need to become bigger. Dare I say a pipe dream? Putting in some effort towards visualizing your future life and making it as joyous and beautiful and optimistic and miraculous as you possibly can. You sprinkle on some lucky Jupiterian juju onto that dream, and wham, you have this powerful spell-weaving ability to, manifest the future of your dreams. It's a powerful signature. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have the 12th house. Jupiter also loves being in the 12th house because it rules Pisces. This is a Piscean house, house of consciousness, mysticism, house of meditation and spirituality, represents consciousness itself. This does suggest a potential for you to break through in your spiritual life to increase the quantity of light of your soul, the connection to your soul, the ability to create more transparency between your ego and your soul so that you can shine more brightly into the world. The more your soul energy, which is comprised of pure, unconditional life light, the more that can be shining out into the external environment in this dense dimension we call planet Earth, the more happier you are, of course, because you're coming from that place of love, but the more positive effect you can have on the world around you, because like attracts like. you shine that soul energy out into the world, you'll help others to shine back at you. So creating that high consciousness energy is the best way of working with the 12th house. Won't spend much time with the shadow side. So how have you underestimated your own spiritual life, your meditation practice? How can I be bold here? The metaphor would be, putting aside your responsibilities for a week or a month and going on a silent retreat, or, studying with some meditation teacher that you fantasize about. It's about investing some time and effort with determination, especially with Capricorn, and doing with a spirit of confidence in yourself. I'm worth it. I'm ready to expand in this most sacred area of my life, which is your consciousness itself. So I don't usually run through the houses here, but this is very important, working with Jupiter right now, in a way that will accelerate your growth process instead of being a little bit more destructive, which it definitely can be. So this is really the core evolutionary intentions, with the goal being to expand our consciousness. And we're going to transition into meditation now, which is designed to be open-ended in the sense of, I'll create space for you to visualize how you can work with Jupiter, cultivate those more virtuous qualities of the warrior and the king of the gods, which is strength, confidence, faith, bravery, courage, and direct it in a particular area of your life based on what house it's going through in your chart. So this is how you blend my meditations with the astrology and how it's affecting you now. So you figure out what house, as I described it, your transiting Jupiter is activating for you, and then you directly apply it to the visualization and the meditation. And if you practice that once a day for a couple of weeks, you're getting a very strong head start on the coming year, at least the first half of it. And you can really connect to the archetypal energy in a profound way, much more powerful way, if you leverage meditation. So please use headphones for best results, because I use binaural beats, and enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions below. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe, share with your friends. It really does help me a lot. Thank you. Enjoy. Sit in a nice, comfortable position with a straight spine. Close your eyes and just begin focusing on the breath. The breath as an entry point into deep relaxation. And as you breathe in, you feel how your body expands. And then you exhale at the same pace. And slow your breath down as much as you can that is still comfortable for you. The slower the breath, the more you relax, and also the more energy you cultivate. And as you breathe in, visualize a snow white energy coming in with the oxygen into the lungs and then spreading out through your entire body. And as you exhale, the air goes out, but the energy stays in. You're cultivating etheric vitality. Comfortable, rhythmic breathing. And now move your attention down to your left foot. And visualize a beautiful white sphere in your left foot, glowing. And now move that white sphere up through your left ankle. Now up into your calf, towards your knee. And you'll notice this white sphere is leaving a trail of white mist through your lower leg. And now you see the white sphere go up into your left thigh, leaving the trail. Now into your left hip. And you see your entire left leg in this brilliant white color. And now the sphere moves across your pelvic floor into your right hip, slowly down into your right thigh, and now into your right knee, your right calf, right ankle, and right foot. And now notice both of your legs are glowing in this white color. And now the sphere moves up through your right leg, up into your stomach. And it glows softly and warmly in your entire stomach and abdomen area. You feel the warm glow in your lower back as well. And now the white sphere moves up and fills your entire chest. And on your next inhale, see the white sphere grow brighter and brighter. It's pulsing or vibrating this beautiful white light. And now see the white sphere go to your right shoulder and into your right upper arm and into the elbow, into the right forearm, right wrist, and see the glow fill your right hand. And visualize in your mind your etheric hand moving in front of your face. And you see your etheric hand in your mind with this beautiful white glow. And now you put your hand down and you see the white sphere go back up through the right arm, across your chest, and into the left shoulder. And now the left upper arm, the left elbow, the left forearm, into the wrist, and into the hand. And notice if you feel any warmth or tingling sensation on the fingertips of your left hand. And now visualize your etheric left hand moving in front of your face. and you look at it before you glowing, and then you slowly put it back down. And now see the white sphere go up through your left arm, into your chest, and move up into your neck, illuminating your entire neck. And you feel all the tension in your neck release and let go. On the next inhale, you see the white sphere move up into your head. And you see it change color into a whitish gold. And on the next inhale, you see that white gold sphere expand to the size of a beach ball in and around your head. And with each inhale, the white gold grows brighter and brighter. The brighter you can make the color, the more you feed this powerful center. This is your creative center. It's the main link to your divine inspiration. And now you're seeing your entire body glow white with a white gold sphere in and around your head. You are a beacon of light. Pouring out love, but also receiving love. Now let the colors fade and begin to feel into your own inner warrior king. The part of you that feels strength, confidence, certainty, faith in yourself. Feel those feelings of your inner king or queen. And now focus on an area of your life that you want to work on, that you want to be more warrior-like there. And see how that area of your life has been for the last couple of years. With full honesty and impunity, without praise or blame. Just seeing how it's been for you. And also feeling into how you would like to see that area of your life improve. How you can seize the moment. Seize the day. And apply this fireball of warrior energy into that area of your life, not in a destructive way, but in such a way that you lean into your own inner strength and resolve and capabilities as a person who can endlessly expand as you believe in yourself more and more and more. And focus quite strongly on those feelings of inner confidence within you. Grow them within you with the power of your consciousness, of your mind. Visualize yourself as stronger than you've ever been, and feel it. Combine the mental visualization with the feelings of the human heart. And now see yourself as that in this specific area of your life. And now create a new visualization where you see yourself making big bets in that area of your life. Believing in yourself. I'm worth it. I'm strong and courageous, and I will be bold here. And things will work out in a beautiful, auspicious, beneficial way. And that will help me to connect with more joy and fulfillment and expansiveness in my life. And spend a couple more seconds on this visualization. Now let the visualization slowly and gently fade from your mind, and return your conscious awareness to your body. Begin to move your fingers and your feet and shift a little bit. As you return to waking consciousness, and whenever you're ready, open your eyes.